Okay. All right. Welcome to team meeting. Today's going to be awesome here to hear from the amazing Annie. But Bucket Phil, just want to see, is there anything that's kind of positive or anything that's going on in your lives? Something you saw someone else do? Brian last week was awesome. So Bucket Phil, Brian, and no pressure, Annie. She didn't hear that, so can't stand under the speaker. Anything else? Can I introduce you, Michonne? Put you on the spot. Michonne is brand new as of today to our office. Yep. She. Do you want to tell anything about yourself? You want to? Yep. Put you on the spot. Yep.
Sure. So my name is Michonne, and I'm kind of new to real estate. I've dabbled a little bit, but my full-time job, I just retired last week. So now I'm ready to go. I have 4 sons and 4 grandbabies, and I am just so excited to be here.
And
I'm signing up for both.
she's signing up for both. She doesn't know what it is yet, but she's signing up. Who else is new in here as of 30 days to our office? 30 days here in the office. Oh, usually we've got a few more. 60 days? 60? 90? Do I hear 90? 6 months. All right. Yeah, I was going to say, I knew we've got, 6 months sober. Is that a no? There's not a lot of hands raised. 7, 8 months. All right, awesome. Here we believe in building careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth living, worth leaving. And so there's always a purpose behind something, behind what we do. So we want to keep that in the forefront. Let's, did you get that, Kenya? Is that where you were? Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, click. Did you get it now? All right. Brock, tell us about mortgages.
Okay, cool. I'm Brock Lassig. I think I know pretty much everybody here, but I'm with Cross Country Mortgage. So I was talking to Tyler yesterday and asked him what he thought would be good to talk about today. And I think the most relevant thing is what's going on with rates and where they headed. So I would say rates most likely are headed up from this point forward, at least, unless we see something come with COVID or economically or some unexpected issue. Rates are probably going up. I would say they've ticked up in the past maybe 4 days, business days, about a 1/4 point. So it's happening pretty fast. We may see a little bit of a bounce and see some improvement. I'm sure it's going to be volatile, but be prepared for that. Now, the first thing that comes to mind, November 3rd. That's going to be an important date when the Fed comes out and announces what their actual plan for tapering quantitative easing is. Quantitative easing is where they've been buying a bunch of mortgage bonds, which is artificially supporting the low mortgage rates. So when they taper that and they stop those purchases, it likely is going to cause rates to go up even higher, perhaps faster. But there's a few things just to get in your mind. One thing that could counteract that is there are 2 Fed presidents. You may have heard they haven't been indicted or anything yet, but they're pretty obviously guilty of insider trading, multi-million-dollar trades on mortgage bonds and treasury bonds, right in line with when the Fed was trading. And these guys are Fed presidents. So they've both stepped down. That's the guy from Boston and a guy from Dallas, Texas. They have Fed presidents from around the nation that are just kind of in their own locality in the nation, so that there's a broad spectrum of what's going on around the nation in the voting of what the Fed's doing. But these guys were both heavily in favor of the rate hikes. So with them now gone, they've stepped down. their replacements could perhaps be less in favor of the rate hikes and maybe slow the flow of this a little bit. So that's something to watch out for beyond that November 3rd. But a couple of stats. First thing that comes to mind, I think, for all of us in this business is like, crap, what do we do with, like, is the market going to tank? Are all of our buyers going to dry up? Is all the sellers going to dry up? So a couple of good points, which I personally think, no, I think it'll slow down a little bit, maybe temporarily. But today there were year-over-year home price index was a plus 1.6% month over month, which is the highest month over month gain. It's a national number. So we've had higher in Utah, but it's the highest month over month national gain that we've ever seen in history. You know, there's argument, could this kind of be that top tipping point where now we start sliding down? Probably not depreciation, but slower appreciation. But the crazy thing is rent went up month over month nationwide by 2.1%. So no matter how we shake it, housing is staying expensive. So it still makes sense to buy, right? There's still motivation there to buy, even if rates go up, because they're so low now. It's very, very affordable. Another interesting point. So this goes to, if rates go up, could it slow down? Yes, but we're already in a housing shortage nationwide, and especially here in Utah, and especially considering what's happening here in Utah over the coming years. But some interesting things, single family housing starts, the most recent reading, the starts, which means starting construction on single family homes in the nation, was down 3% month over month. So builders are slowing down, which is going to add to this issue of housing shortage, which is going to hopefully decrease the influence that increased rates have on slowing the market. And permits were only up 0.6%. So there's not anything really catching up for these sharp declines in starts. Permits aren't going to make that up in any near future. And then one other thing that kind of pigtails with that is the highest number of millennial buyers, which is the biggest pool of buyers in the nation right now, home buyers. The highest number of those will become of prime home buying age over the next 12 months. So if rates go up with low housing and all these issues, and frankly, the millennial buyers I see can afford way, way more than they buy. So I think there's still buying power for the prime, you know, the home buyers that are going to be most prevalent, which are millennials. And we're going to see a lot of them, the most ever, coming up over the next 12 months hitting the market. Now, the last thing, this is something you all have been asking me about for a while, and I didn't have much data on it, but it has to do with foreclosures due to forbearance and what COVID caused. We're all worried that maybe this would cause another 2008 repeat. Well, I have good news that it's not. So at the beginning, there were about, or at the peak, excuse me, there were about 5 million homeowners in forbearance, in active forbearance. As of today, so, you know, about 12 months later, there are only 1.5 million in forbearance. So that's down, what, 70%. And of those 3.5 million that have come out of forbearance, only 0.65%, so less than 1% of those people resulted in a foreclosure or a short sale. So because we have so much equity, it's very unlikely we're going to see, I mean, rates is the only thing in our way, but everything else is counteracting that. So I think stay positive. We probably have still a pretty good run ahead of us.
Do you think there'll be an influx
No, because I don't think so. There's only, you know, there's only 30% more people in forbearance. Very few of them, you know, had a foreclosure or short sale. So it would just be the normal trend. Do they want to sell? Can they afford to buy their new home? Whatever the case is. And all of the best forecasters that I watch anyway are saying we are not going to see housing depreciation. Maybe like there's no indication of that in any time. It's just a slow in the appreciation rate, which frankly, we probably all want. So, yeah.
So are they going to allow those 1.5 million to refi or do something else?
Yes. We can already, we've refied a bunch of people that have come out of forbearance already. So it's still, there's still options. They have to generally make 3 payments post forbearance in order to refi. Yep. Good question. Yeah.
Can you repeat that stat that you said about millennial homebuyers?
Yes. So the basics are, and I don't have a specific percentage, but the basic is millennial homebuyers are the largest pool of homebuyers in the nation of any generation. By like a lot, like 60 to 70% of the homebuyers are millennials. That'll probably evolve to Gen Z. And the highest number of them hitting the perfect home buying age are just turning that age over the next 12 months. I think it's like 35 is what it's statistics. So it just says like of millennials, at what age do normally millennials buy homes? And it's that age, and more millennials are turning that age this year than any other year in the past. So we have a flood of the perfect home buyer. And from my perspective, millennials are like, honestly, most of them are debt free, have a ton of cash and have great earnings, dual income households. They're perfect home buyers. So they can support this increase in rates if we see it. So cool.
Do you have any info on what like their average purchase price is? Like, or is that
I could probably look that up. I'll write that down and find it. I tend to see in my own personal business that millennials are spending, they're not spending at the top of our market anyway, but they're spending not at the bottom. Like they're in that, in my business, like Salt Lake County millennial buyers that I see are generally spending somewhere between 500 and 800 is where they're at. Way under. Most of them are qualifying for like 2 to 3 times what they buy. So. No. Yeah, just millennial buyer. I mean, the ones that are going to be turning a home buying age, prime home buying age over the next 12 months would be first time home buyers. And it's just statistics. It's based on how many millennials exist and at what age do millennials tend to buy real estate. And the ones that exist that are turning that age, the biggest number of those are happening this year. So we should still see good support from them as clients.
So in terms of rates, you spoke
Yep.
to rates, right?
Yep.
They're starting to
Tip up.
pull your crystal ball out.
Yep.
So everything that I've kind of researched indicates that by the end of next year, rates will probably hover around 4%. Do you think that's low? Do you think that's
No, I think that's pretty realistic. 4%-ish by the end of 2022.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it could happen really fast. And then it could, maybe we hit upper 3s in a pretty short time and then we hover there for a while. I think,
It's historically great still, right? Like,
yeah, it's extraordinary.
been up for like 2 years?
Well, they have, but nobody expected COVID. Before COVID hit, we were on this same path that we're on today before COVID hit, and we hit that nearing 4% for a couple of months. And then we got the support. So, I mean, for my career, there's all sorts like the tsunamis in Japan years and years ago that caused rates to unexpectedly go low. So something could happen. We'll see. I don't know. But I think, yeah, around 4% by the end of next year, unless something helps. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Brock. Maybe something to remember is we all have seen the market. We've seen prices in the past, but people jumping into it today, it just is what it is. They don't have something like, oh, remember when it was really low? We all have our own stories. Oh, I bought this house, it was $120,000. They don't care about that. Today, it's worth $400,000, and that's a good deal. So remember the mindset of someone jumping in today, and remember they don't have a whole lot of historic evidence to tell them that this is more expensive. It just is what it is. It's probably going up. Okay, reminder. So we've got a fall client appreciation event. These office events we put these together to make it easy for you to invite your clients to these events. And it's a great way for them to connect with you and to see you as a real estate expert. This is going to be, who knows how to even say that? Kuahara. Kuahara. Okay. That is, so in 4 weeks from today. So that is October 26th. We need, it is going to be $5 a person. So if you have 10 people that you want to invite in your database, that'd be $50. 100 people, $500. And that's actually very inexpensive for something like this. And it includes corn maze, bounce houses, haunted house, photo walls, shows, and cotton cannon. Like, that is not a typo. That's for real. They shoot it off. That's pretty cool. Is that a hand raise? Yeah. Do you have the answer to that? Yep, good question.
Nick said this is like a quarter of the retail price to get it.
Yeah, it's $19 online.
Yeah. So because we do it as a big event, we can get it a lot lower. Annie, is there anything you want to add to this? Annie was part of, am I putting you on the spot?
No, you spelled it right. It's right.
So Annie has been, she's a part of our Agent Leadership Council over events, and she's been helping put this together. So we're very grateful for her efforts in getting this going. Is there anything that you missed or anything you want to add to this?
No, it's going to be really fun. I guess one thing I would add is that don't be afraid to like use this to reach out to your database. You will probably have like a 30 to 50% response. And so I always love these because I feel like it's a really good opportunity to give without having to really spend, you know, like you can reach out to 500 people, but you may only have 100 show up. So you've now, you know, reached 500 people for $500.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid. Like, don't think you're going to be having to spend, you know,
These
thousands of dollars on this.
Right.
It's a great opportunity to reach out and touch.
And is that our night?
Oh, great question. It is not private. Yeah, it's not private, but yeah, so we're hoping, I mean, they promised us that they'll have plenty of space and they're bringing in additional food trucks. So there'll be lots of opportunities for people to purchase meals and stuff. So.
Yep.
Ours is due by Monday is, so there's nothing at the door for this deal.
We head count ahead of time. Yep.
If you have people like call you last minute, just let us know. We can usually work it out, but for the most part, no, we need a head count.
Just make sure they know your name.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be checking them in and getting them like at the event and get them like a wristband or something so they can get in. And we going off the list that you supply to the office.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Annie said, it's just a great excuse to reach out to your database. And usually it's the easiest thing to, hey, you want to come. It's such an easy call.
So the email that I sent, it has a couple of different attachments. So I provided one for the back of the postcard that's completely blank, and then one that just has writing on it. So either way, you can either customize what you want it to say, just put that image in like Canva or something, or if you want to use what I've provided the back, you could even just throw like your logo on there, or you can use it exactly how it is. Did you already send that out, or you're going to send it? I did send it out
This morning.
maybe an hour ago. So yeah. When you put the Facebook on? Yeah, right before it.
Yes. Oh. Right here, then here. Sorry.
For the RSP list, do we need to include the 300ers or just the paid people?
Probably just the paid people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the paid people.
Is this a normal thing? Like we've done this before and we plan to do it every year, or is this like a one, like you just decided to do it?
So last year was Corn Bellies.
Yeah.
The venue changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll always have 2 events a year. And this is what we had really good success last year with Corn Bellies. They raised their prices a whole bunch. So we're switched over to here, and it's a little bit of a drive. We figured this is a really great location. So we're really excited about this one. But yeah, we always try to do a fall event. So, and yeah, you're paying about 1/4 of the cost of
Oh,
it.
that's awesome. I just want to know the plan on it. So
Yeah.
people ask.
Yes.
like, it's-
Yep.
It may
Yep.
not be here, but they'll be somewhere. We'll do something.
Yep.
Advertise once a-
Yep. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, Bold. This is what Michonne was committing to without even knowing. So Bold is, we talked about it last week. Bold is a way to, it's a 8-week, well, seven steps, kind of an 8-week thing, but it goes through each week. You meet together. It's in person each time. And what you can do is it helps your business jumpstart into, like, if you need a kick in the pants for lead gen, or like what scripts you should use, or contacting your database, or they've even added stuff in there for social media, things like that, to really add business. And if you look right here, if you can see my cursor, so this is last year. Bold graduates increased their closed transactions by 50% and increased their income by 114%. There's another stat, I don't know that I see it on here, that on average, the Bold attendee will get 14 transactions as a result of Bold, 14 tracks. So, and that's, I've done it 3 times. Anyone else done it? Multiple times? Yeah, it's one of those that she's like, not sure. She did it multiple times. It's one of those, like, each time it did benefit my business. And if nothing else, now is a great time to do it, because sometimes we kind of take our foot off the gas a little bit in the fall and going into the winter, but this will keep the business rolling into the winter months and coming into the first of the year. So huge benefit to your business. Who has already registered for it? So the first step is free, 100% free. It'll give you an idea on what is going on. So if you're just semi-curious, even just a little bit, sign up, come and register. And here is a QR code that will pull you up to this events link that you see on the bottom. So if you have your phone and can see that well enough that it pulls up a link, then just go on there and click register. We've got several people already that are already registered for this, the first week, which is in 2 weeks. Yep, October 11th. It's a Monday. So plan on that. And again, who's already registered? Got a handful. It's at the Salt Lake Community College, the Miller Center. And who's going to register today? Awesome. Okay, we'll add a few. Great. Honestly, this is, it does not go towards how it benefits. It doesn't benefit us here. Like, it's not a self-serving thing. I really hope that you guys are able to come, because it does benefit your businesses. Okay, let's get moving on to why we're really here. Annie Cannon. Yes, let's give her a round of applause. Why don't you come up here? And while she's coming up, for those who already know Annie, you are lucky individuals. She always has this smile pasted on her face, and it just lifts me up personally, and I'm so grateful for you. She has an awesome business. She does awesome things in new construction. And if you don't know, she is an excellent designer and revamps houses and does it right. So she's the whole package. We're lucky to hear from her today. Yep. You can use this one if you prefer. So we will need one of the mics for the Zoom recording. You want this one? Okay. This one?
Slides, yeah. Is that good? You guys hear me?
If you talk that way.
Okay. Oh, gosh. Okay. I tend to lean right, so maybe I should put it to my right. Okay. All right. I think that's going to be more natural for me. Okay. I'm just going to pass out a piece of paper really quickly. You guys just pass these around. Ignore the back. Okay. We're just recycling, reusing, repurposing. Yes. Yes. Hey, does everybody have one? Here's a few more. Yeah, sure. That would be great. Thanks. Go. Yeah. Okay, so Terry reached out a month or so ago and asked me to wrap up this series on mindset. As Tyler mentioned, I do a lot of new construction. So I find myself in my builder's office more than here. So I don't think I've been to these meetings this year. I think we did something similar last year, which was really beneficial for me. So hopefully you guys have had some good experiences in these team meetings and been able to learn and grow from these. But I'm going to wrap this up today. And I actually was browsing Barnes and Noble with my kids and came across this book called Finding Muchness. And this inspired my some ideas for me for today. So, and I'm gonna give this away at the end. So one of you gets to go home with this. But in this book, he says, you are bursting with promise, potential, and possibility. You have so much to give and so much to offer. This is your life. This is your time. This is your chance to do everything you want to do. Live bravely, care deeply, share freely, get the most out of each shining moment. Fill your life with love and stuff your days with wonder. Because when you willingly throw yourself into everything you do, that's when you come alive. That's when the magic sparks. I don't know if you guys have heard of the podcast. It's called Mindset Mentor. Rob Dial is the guy's name. It's one of the few like self-help tests that I actually like. Sometimes I get a little anxious when like self-help makes me a little anxious because I'm like doing it all wrong. I gotta go. I gotta stop what I'm doing, change everything. And he's not like that. His are like short and to the point and really good. But he talks in one of them about Mindset Mentor, and his name is Rob Dial. And he talks a lot about like not being wasted potential, and I think we think about that. We think about how much potential we all have just as human beings on the earth. And it's big, like it's overwhelming to think the potential that we have. And I think sometimes what happens is when we're little, I think we have these like huge expectations and like unbridled ideas of what we can do. And then the doubts creep in, right? I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not whatever. And those doubts start to creep in. Those limiting beliefs start to replace that, those unlimited beliefs that we have as kids. So anyway, I think that's really important for us to remember that our potential is endless. So I want you guys to take a couple minutes and I want you to draw. Hopefully you guys have pens and pencils. There's a few up here. Does anyone need one? I'm sorry, I'm passing out pens that aren't mine. But I want you to draw a picture of an owl, okay? So yes, so take a couple minutes. We'll take like 3 minutes, okay? Is everybody good with the pen or pencil? Yeah. Oh, look at you. Of course you do.
Some days I have none, and today I have.
I know, same. I'm like, I have 14 in my purse. It's up to you.
Oh my God. This is embarrassing. I don't know what the announcement was.
Only me. I need you to write your name on them, or I'm not gonna like judge you or look at it or anything. Your name is for something else. If you want to win the book or the notepad that I'm giving away, then you need to turn it in, but it's not a contest. It's just a random drawing.
Now it looks like a bat. What do you do?
I'm fine with cheating. I'm all about it. I never said you couldn't look at anything, so you're good. Okay, so how many of you instantly, when I asked you to do that, maybe some of you are really artistic and you're like, cool, I can totally do this. This is all me. How many of you instantly said, I'm not an artist? That's what I would for sure say. And if you asked me to sing, I would for sure say, absolutely not. I don't sing. I'm not a singer. I've been telling myself my whole life I'm not a singer. Although I think singing is the one exclusion from this. If you can't sing, you can't sing. But everything else you can learn. Okay, that's what I'll talk about today. So the question is, so there's an author named Carol Dweck. She wrote a book called Mindset. And she posed the question, is artistic ability a gift? That's a question we all ponder. Conventional thinking leans on the easy answer, yes, it must be. Mozart was gifted with music. Picasso was gifted with art and painting. Michael Jordan was gifted with basketball. They were all born geniuses. Science, however, points in a different direction. Psychologist and author Carol Dweck, who has dedicated her life to busting the many myths of mindset, has discovered otherwise. In her book, I learned about the story of Betty Edwards. Betty is an artist. She runs 5-day drawing workshops for anyone who has an inkling for art, and her promise is this: in 5 days, you can become an artist. She argues that most people view drawing as a magical ability that only a select few possess, and that only a select few will ever possess. But this is because people don't understand the components, the learnable components of drawing. These skills are not drawing skills, they are seeing skills. Learning how to perceive edges, spaces, relationships, lights, and shadows. So these are some before and after pictures from her students who had been in her class for 5 days. So you can see like their picture on the right, and then, yes, 5 days, yeah. So, and that is her like proving her point that it's not just an innate thing that can be learned. And I think that's the thing that we so often we get ourselves in these ruts where we say, it's not my thing. It's not my talent. It's not my best skill. So I can't do it. But really, I think we can really learn to do anything we set our mind to. And I like where she says, let me just go back here. I like where she says that people don't understand the learnable components of art. So just like there's learnable components of art, there are learnable components of everything we do, right? So when we talk about selling houses, why do you think one person is more successful selling homes than the next? Let's say work ethic aside, because we know work ethic is a huge, huge part of this business. But work ethic aside, what do you think makes one person more successful than the next? Charisma. Okay. So do you think charisma can be learned? Yeah. Yeah. Do you have something?
I would say.
So do you think, yes, I totally agree. Like greatness isn't, what is the saying? Greatness isn't achieved by doing one great thing one time, right? It's the small and simple things we do every day. Like your post that you posted today. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's the small and simple things.
I look and I tell new agents that join our brokerage all the time this, if I pull up the top 10 agents in our office. Oh,
Sorry, I'm like new. I mean, yeah, I wish Zoom could see my owl in this way. Yeah.
I want to
So
see your owl.
I always tell people that if you laid out the top 10, even the top 20 agents in our office, everyone is doing things differently, but they're doing what they're doing well consistently, you know? And so I'll just pick on you because you're at the front and I'm here and I have the mic, but you're an example of somebody that is very just consistent with the value you provide to your clients.
you'll have that combo with me of like, I need to organize this, I need this, but you are so consistent about that. And that's what makes Annie who Annie is on, the producer list. So
Yeah. So, I mean, that's so true. So like consistency. So can we learn consistency, or is it easy to just say, well, I'm just not like that. I just don't know how to do that every day. Like, I don't know how to implement those basic like routines into my life. We can all say that, right? But at the same time, overcome that. Because I was told from the time I was very young that I could do whatever I wanted to do with my life. And I think that is something that people with a growth mindset believe that they can be anything they want to be. People with a fixed mindset often say, I can't. I wasn't born with that gift. I don't have that talent. So anyway, it's really important that we try to learn to overcome that. So in her book, Carol Dweck says, my research has shown that the view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. The growth mindset is based on the belief that your basic qualities are things you can cultivate through your efforts, your strategies. So self-belief plus practices equals growth. So, and I want to talk about that a little bit too. So we can believe in ourselves all day long and not get anywhere, right? We have to put our beliefs into practice, and that's when we'll experience growth. Growth in our careers, growth in our fitness, in our whatever goals we're trying to achieve, in our financial well-being. We have to put our beliefs together with our actions, right? And then that's when we'll experience growth. Do you guys feel like, so I love it where she says the growth mindset is, the view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. Isn't that so true? Do you ever feel the view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life? And I don't think there's like a truer statement when it comes to growth and mindset. I think that it's been a hard couple of years, right? Like it's been rough in so many ways. And for all of us, and I think that's the thing that's been unique about the last couple of years, is that it's been collectively hard. We all go through our hard stuff, but it's been collectively hard. And then when you add your personal struggles in with what's going on in the world, it's been like, just to be totally honest, and like, well, people know I'm telling Kimber all the time, like, I'm in a funk. I got to get out of it. But I think that goes back to how do you see yourself? Are you saying, I'm too sad, I'm too tired, I'm too lazy, I'm too, like, the way we perceive ourselves is so important in the way we project ourselves into the world. And if we're projecting positive energy and happiness, that's going to come back to us. So I think it's really easy to spiral down that dark hole of not having that and not showing that, and then having it bounce back to us, right? So that's not an innate ability either, just like other things. I think that's something that has to be taught and learned and practiced. I wanted to share about my kids. So if you follow me on social media, you've probably already seen this, but well, maybe not. Maybe you follow me, but you muted me or something. So maybe you haven't. She's so annoying. Anyway, I was very inspired by my kids last week. So they had their fun run at school, and my daughter's a softball player and my son plays football, but he's not the star of the team by any means. He's also a wrestler, but he's not the most naturally athletic kid. And my daughter's not either. They both work really hard at their respective sports, but they are both pretty competitive. So my daughter ran first in the morning, and she was determined to win. So that's her little friend in the green shirt on her right. And she, on your right, she is a soccer player. She ran 31 laps in 20 minutes. So she ran 3.1 miles in 20 minutes. And so my daughter all of a sudden was like, she like wanted to beat her friend so bad. And she's just like going, and my mom's there with me. My mom is like we would refer to her as a fixed mindset. She likes her comfort zone. And she is like, you need to tell her stop. She needs to walk. And I'm like, Mom, she's not dying. Like, we're good. She's fine. And my mom comes, you just tell her to walk just for a minute, just walk for a minute. I'm like, Mom, when you do that, you lose your momentum. She can't walk or she'll never catch up, So she is just running her heart out, and she ended up taking third place. She ended up running 28 laps in 20 minutes. So almost 3 miles. And I know I was so proud of her. And then my son got word that she took third place in her grade. So then he was like on it. He's like, well, I'm not going to let her beat me. So then he ended up taking third too. So it was such a fun day. We were so proud of them. We were just like, this is so cool, because this isn't like a thing like, oh, you're the fastest runner. That's so cool. It was a thing like you did something so hard, so far outside of your comfort zone. They both wanted to die, but they did it anyway, which was so cool. I think that's something that we always have to just like remind ourselves, like, push yourself a little harder, like get a little further outside of your comfort zone, great things will happen. It was a really good day for our family. So a small thing, but it meant a lot to them and to us. Okay, we've all heard this saying or this adage, I guess. Life is hard, choose your hard. Marriage is hard, divorce is hard, choose your hard. Obese is hard, being fit is hard, choose your hard. Being in debt is hard, being disciplined is hard, choose your hard. Communication is hard, not communicating is hard, choose your hard. As I've like studied this a little bit and seen it in different places, I've seen a few people express that this like comes from a position of privilege. Yes. Did someone just say that? Yes. Privilege. Because we don't all get to choose our hard, right? There's a lot of hard things in our lives that we don't get to choose. I think so. We have to remember, I just wanted to point that out to just take this in context. There are a lot of things that we can choose. So those are the things that we should be making the right choice about, hopefully. But there are a lot of things that we can't. And so, it's not always that easy. It's not always that black and white. And I totally get that. But I do think that this is one of those things that we should try to remind ourselves a lot. Like, this is hard. Well, yeah, it is hard, but what's the alternative? The alternative is going to be hard too, so I think keeping this in our minds is a good way to keep a positive outlook and a strong mind. So your greatest potential is not found in your comfort zone. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Success is living up to your potential. That's all. Wake up with a smile and go after life. Live it, enjoy it, taste it, smell it, feel it. So let's talk about, does anybody want to like share something that's really uncomfortable for you that you would like to change or work on? Or, because I can think of like 50 things, but.
I want to be good at something before like,
I want to be good at something before the world sees it. So I will not practice in front of people. Like if someone was like, let's do a script practice, I'll be like, well, let me be the best script practice person ever first. And then I will totally practice with you.
And then I'll do it.
Yeah.
So like your TikTok, you haven't practiced that before.
This is also the journey I'm on. So
right?
yes, so this is also the journey I'm on. So I'm like, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
Is the only way I'm going to pop myself out of that. But that is an example of something that, yeah, I'm going to be in the backstage, like practicing forever. The problem is if you practice too long, you're just going to stay backstage. You're never going to get out on stage and no one's ever going to see you. So
yep. Sometimes
this has been my TED Talk.
Because you never, thank you, Kimber. It's so true. Like I watch my daughter play a lot of softball. So there might be a few softball references here, but you can practice and practice and practice pop flies all day long. But until you're out in outfield and one gets hit to you, that's when the real, that's your real practice, because the pressure's on and you're in the moment, everybody's watching and everybody's hoping and like it's on you. And so yeah, practice, like you have to be willing to put yourself out there or to really have to experience that growth. Does anybody else have anything that is uncomfortable for you?
Mine is long distance exercise. I've always done sports. I've always been athletic, and I do the short sprints and the runs, basketball, football, soccer, those sort of things. But the long distance, like that is beyond my comfort zone.
Yeah. And you've pushed yourself to do it though, right?
Yeah, that was, it was actually in this room that I declared, it was a while ago that I declared, I'm going to do a half Ironman.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a bike and I didn't know how to swim and I hated running.
That's so awesome.
And yes,
Yes.
and did it this year. And it's actually,
That's so awesome.
yeah, I still don't really love the long distance stuff.
Yeah.
I
But
became a different person
like
for
that
it.
sense of accomplishment, like knowing that you now know you can do it, right? I mean, that's the thing that's cool. You probably know, and I'm going to forget the name. Some of you might know him, but Rob Dial in his podcast, Mindset Mentor, talks about this athlete who was like a former, who? No, maybe. I don't think that's it. He's an athlete who like went from like 300 pounds on the couch to like running these like, yes, David Goggins. Yep. Yeah. So that, and so he did these extreme races going from like nothing. At one point, like both of his feet were broken, untrained, and doing these difficult races that his feet were broken. He was a mess. That's like an extreme example. Like Rob even says in his podcast, like, I don't recommend pushing yourself that hard, but it's just an example of human potential, right? Like of how much we're capable of that we don't reach our potential because we're very comfortable. So yeah, that was David Goggins, right? Is the name. Yeah. Thanks for that. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all these. You guys will get these slides, right? Or we can share them, but just a couple. So Tony Robbins gives 6 easy steps to getting out of your comfort zone. He talks about mastering emotions. He says that some of the most successful people in the world, they don't necessarily repress their emotions. They do the opposite. They acknowledge that their emotions are there and they guide them. They feel their feelings fully and ask themselves, what is this emotion really telling me? When you leave your comfort zone, anxiety is normal. It's telling you that you feel vulnerable, acknowledge it, and then move past it. Growth is one. I love this quote or this piece that he shares about developing a growth mindset. He says, growth is one of the most essential human needs. If you're not growing, you're dying. The most successful people in the world have a deep need for growth that pushes them to the comfort zone in search of new things. This is called having a growth mindset. The belief that humans can improve their skills. In contrast, people with a fixed mindset don't believe they can improve themselves and may not bother trying. When you develop a growth mindset, you'll unlock your inner power. I love that too. And then one of the other points he makes, step number 5, is to surround yourself with the right people. I think we can all attest to this, right? Like, this is why we're here. This is like, I came here almost 3 years ago. Oh yeah, almost 3 years ago. And like, I have felt myself grow so much. I love being surrounded by the people here. I love like the production, the kindness that's shown. Like, just, I see people push themselves all the time. I see people like Kenya, who is like, what are you like? You're just like, she's so new in the business. She has 4 little kids and she's just like going crazy. And it's so fun to see that. And it's so fun to feed on others' success. You know, I think that success breeds success. And so I think it's so important that we surround ourselves with like-minded people.
He says, if you want to leave your comfort zone, you must surround yourself with the right people, people with a growth mindset, people who challenge themselves to be better and do better on a daily basis, people who will celebrate your accomplishments and help you learn from your failures. This could be a results coach, a mentor, or a group of supportive friends or agents in your office. When you learn to leverage the power of proximity, anything is possible. So anyway, and those were my 2 steps that stood out that I liked the most, but all 6 are really great. And I can send these slides to you guys. As I kind of wrap up here, the biggest thing that I think the most important thing is to find your why and to know your why. And for me, like this year, as I've kind of struggled and kind of felt myself in this funk and this grind and just like, oh, I'm so tired and my kids are growing up and I'm so busy and it's been kind of a challenge. Honestly, it's been kind of a hard year for me. And I think that's when you really have to dig deep and you really have to say, why am I doing this? Am I doing it to pay the bills? Am I past that point? Am I doing it because I love it? Am I doing it because I think I'm the only person that can really help people with their real estate needs? Probably not. There's probably other people that can help them. Like why? What's my big why? So I'm going to share kind of a personal story. I'm going to try not to cry. I don't think I will because I've shared this a lot, but this is my dad. So this is my dad at my brother's wedding. No, I didn't last. Sorry.
Yes, you look the exact same as the day of your wedding. Like,
Well, good. And so that's me and my dad at my brother's wedding, I think in 99. And then that's me and my dad at my wedding in 04. And my dad, so I was like 24 when I got married. So my dad was told when I was born that he would probably not live to see me graduate from high school. And he was a drinker. He drank a lot. He had a little bit of a problem with alcohol and he was a smoker. He was very rough around the edges guy. And unfortunately with that, he also had really bad asthma. Like he was born with asthma. He was like with type 1 diabetes when he was like 28. And so when he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and on top of the asthma that he dealt with, that he was eventually like he was completely dependent on prednisone, which is like a double-edged sword. It's a drug when you need to breathe, you need your lungs to work, but it's a really bad drug because it has a lot of terrible side effects. Anyway, so when I was born, he was told that if you do not quit smoking and drinking, you will not live to see your kids graduate from high school. And so he did. He quit that moment. And it was a huge part of his life. Like it was a huge vice in his life that he was, I would say, an alcoholic. And I just think, I think of people who overcome substance addiction and abuse, and I can't imagine anything harder in this life. But when he was given an ultimatum and his why was big enough, it became that easy. It was cold turkey. It was done in a day. He was done. It was over. And so I think that is always has been. So anyway, my dad lived to walk me down the aisle at my wedding. He had actually, this is how cool my dad was, you guys. He actually had not walked for a year and a half. And he walked me down the aisle. I walked again, but yeah. So I was holding him up right there. So you can't tell though. You can't tell. I mean, he was not really, I mean, I was balancing him, but yeah. So he never walked again after that. He passed away in 2008, but he got to see his first 3 grandkids be born. He got to experience a lot of things that he otherwise wouldn't have. So for him, that was his big enough why. So for me, when life gets hard, I don't know, it's kind of, I guess I've always been blessed by my experiences with him and his issues that he dealt with, because he dealt with really hard stuff. And so the things that I sometimes think are hard are really not that hard, you know? And I think that I have perspective, I guess. So I'm able to kind of overcome some of those hard days. But anyway, so if your why is big enough, like just dig deep and find out like what it really is, you know, and then move forward, like whatever it is. If it's your kids, if it's, you know, for me, it's my kids, like they're definitely my why. But then I think, well, if they're my why, then am I really doing like the best things for them? And then I have to kind of reevaluate and say, you know, in a lot of ways I am, because I'm like a thrifty saver. Like I'm not really motivated like by money, I guess, like a lot of people are. I am in the sense that I love it for security, but I don't really love things that much. So I'm always like, well, why am I doing this? Like, but then I think about like the security that I'm providing for my kids, and like my daughter like desperately wants to go to fashion school, and I'm like, well, cool, let's do it. You know, instead of like having to say, well, yeah, that's never going to happen, it's too expensive. I want to be like, cool, let's do it. Like, let's go for it, you know? So that's why I keep digging deep and doing the things I do. But anyway, I'll just close with saying that we are capable of a lot more than we think. Remember that you have so much potential, so much within you, and so many gifts to share. Your life can be everything you hoped for and much, much more. That's my TED Talk. I have giveaways. So do you guys want to turn in your pictures real quick? You have to write your name on it. Awesome, thanks. It's not a contest. Oh, you can't turn yours in. Okay.
Do you need like my name on it? Is that what you?
Yeah, I just need your name. If you don't want to turn your picture in, just because I'm just going to draw these out.
I'm gonna look back.
Why did I draw an L? Was I that bored in Annie's class? Yeah, thanks. This is good. Good job. Did you want to do you want to do your name? Do you want to win a prize here? Sorry, we're going over time. I don't want to keep anyone. I know everyone's busy. Oh, that's good. Awesome. You guys are all a lot better than me. See, there I go. Thank you. Oh, yes, yes. Did you have one? No, you didn't? Awesome. Sure. I'm just going to draw them out to give the way. Thank you. It's called Finding Muchness. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Okay. So let's go back to that. So yeah, that was where, so she says, is artistic ability a gift? And then she says, that's a question we all ponder. And then she says, the easy answer is yes, but scientifically, it actually is proven that it's more of a learned skill. And so, yeah.
How did you feel when you asked us to draw that?
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh. Yes, I know, because I'm sure those who are like confident in your artistic ability are like, awesome, I'm gonna do this so well. I know if I would have been sitting there and told to do that, I would have immediately gone, I can't draw. Like, because it's just not, I'm not good at it. But now I want to take this class. I want to figure out where I can learn to be an artist in 5 days. So, okay, I'm just shuffling these and picking one. Okay. Lori. Okay, so you get to pick. So I'm a list maker. So this is one thing we didn't get into too much, is like, we did a little bit. We talked about in the beginning, we have to have the belief and we have to have the actions, right? So I'm a list maker, so I make a lot of lists, and I really like this one that says, what the F am I doing? So do you want this or do you want the book? Okay. You don't want this? You don't like this, Lori?
I love it.
Okay. I have a lot of, yeah. I have a lot of lists like this. Janelyn. Oh, Awesome. Do you want this? Oh, sorry. No. Yeah, it's kind of inappropriate, but. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Okay. That's all I have. Oh my goodness. Okay. I would love to.
Anna, you're amazing. Let's give her another round. She deserves it.
Oh, thank you.
And have a great week.